In its third episode, Dune Prophecy takes us back to the humble origin of House Harkonnen. Sisterhood above all is divided into past and present timelines, delving deep into why sisters Valia and Tula Harkonnen are how they are, and how their shared past informs not only their present, but also possibly their futures. With the sisterhood in danger, their loyalties to the author and their family will both be tested. Welcome back everyone. This will be my Dune Prophecy episode 3 breakdown video. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. Let's get into the video. After being casually dismissed from court by Desmond Hart in episode 2, Two Wolves, Valia and sister Theodosia leave the Imperial Palace with a mix of anger and frustration. The next day, they meet the other sisters in the harbor, and Valia instructs them to go back to their assigned noble houses and do anything not to lose their hold over those, and that she will regain control over House Corino herself. During this meeting, Sister Michaela appears with news from Valaknan. Sister Lila didn't survive the agony, but was able to reach Mother Superior Rakila Berto and rule, who left a mysterious hint. The key to the reckoning is one born twice, once in blood, once in space. Wale immediately understands that Rakila is talking about heart and says that a trip home is called for. At the end of the episode, Valia and Theodosia arrive at a luxurious apartment in Seleucia Secundus. Once Valia centers herself by chanting sisterhood above all, they are greeted by Baron Harrow Harkonnen, who calls her Aunt Valia and asks about Aunt Tula. At the fireplace, Valia's elderly uncle Evgeny Harkonnen says he thought he had never seen the day. From Seleucia Secundus, we are taken to the frigid planet of Lankiwale, the homeworld of House Harkonnen, an unspecified number of years in the past. Young Valia returns home from buying groceries and only hears complaints from her parents, Sonia and Virgil, but finds support from her siblings, Griffin and young Tula. Uncle Evgeny mentions that Warden Atreides is mysteriously back, and Valia sees this as an opportunity to get him to take back the lies he told the Landstrad about House Harkonnen, so they may regain their status. She says that Virgil's grandfather, Abelard Harkonnen, was a hero who prevented a genocide, not a coward. The adults tell her to stop being greedy, and Valia storms off, with Griffin following her. They reminisce about a time when Griffin fell into a lake of icy water and Valia rushed to rescue him. He says that he had already given up, but when she screamed for him to swim, his body mysteriously acted on its own and swam, thus saving him from death, her first ever use of voice. He agrees to track down Warren Atreides because he believes in Valia, but in the very next scene, his body is returned to Lankiwale, killed by Warren. Valia vows revenge against the Atreides, despite her parents sending her to join the sisterhood on Valaknan, and tells Tula to find a way out of Lankiwale. On Valaknan, Valia's feud with Sister Dorothea begins when she questions how to use truth and lies when serving a noble house. Dorothea says that it's a sister's responsibility to pull them to humanity's better nature, but Valia sees truth as a tool that should be used to serve a purpose. Dorothea then turns Valia in front of her class and in the next scene takes the acolytes to a test, meditating while standing in the pouring rain until they are able to forsake their family bonds and embrace sisterhood above all. After a whole day, Valia is the only one left and is once again provoked by Dorothea, who says she will always be a Harkonnen. Valia continues to meditate too until Mother Aquila shows up. She used the voice to tell the Mother Superior to stop, and later back inside, they discuss this ability, and Aquila tells her that the sisterhood is about advancing the human species. Sometime later, the Mother Superior shows Valia all the sisters' secrets and takes her to the tunnels to see her life's great work, the genetic matrix containing the DNAs of all the great houses. To build this index, Rakela had to rely on computers, something strictly forbidden, and Valia complains with the keeping this secret. Meanwhile, Dorothea, who is Butlerian, preaches that thou shalt not make a machine in the likeness of a human mind, just outside the tunnels, and stares at Rokila and Valia in jealousy. Later, Valia tells her friends that she knows Rokila will choose her as successor and shows them the voice. In the next scene, Rokila calls both Valia and Tertia to go through the agony together, saying they are both in the strongest sisters and are both the future leaders of the order. In two words, we learn that Rokila is actually Dorothea's grandmother, so they also share a forbidden family tie. Just as Rokila is about to drop the Razak poison on Valia's eye, Valia stands up, apologizes, and says she can't go through with it. Later, Rokila tells Valia that a coded message from Tula arrived from Lankiwale, and that Valia should go. She also gives Valia a vial of the Razak poison, telling her she should return as a reverend mother or not at all. After Griffin's funeral, the following flashback sees young Tula being welcomed by her boyfriend Ori's family, camping on a forest world, preparing to hunt a Seleucian bull. They know her as a Tula whale, but she changes the subject whenever someone asks her about her family. Ori's family is nice to her, and she is equally warm to all of them. When a horse falls wounded, Tula tries to save it, but Ori's uncle Shanta tells her it must be put down. We do what we must. So she helps them sacrifice it painlessly. At night, Ori asks Tula about her family, and she sees that after her brother died, her sister was angry and went to school, and her parents barely saw her in their grief. Ori then proposes to Tula, and as they spend the night together, the men of the family gather by the fire outside and scream their family name at Ritz. In the morning, Tula tries to sneak out of her and Ori's hut, but Ori wakes up. Feeling guilty, she confesses to Ori that her last name isn't Whale, but Harkonnen. Ori is surprised, but argues that their family chooses to hate each other over something that happened more than a century ago, and that together they can write a future for themselves. Tula rejects him and saying it will still be an Atreides who killed her brother, and echoing what she heard that day, tells Ori that we do what we must. He then realizes that the camp is ill-equipped and finds all his relatives dead outside. Tula then tells him that he didn't see her either and kills him. Young Albert is the only one Tula allows to survive and runs away. As she mourns Ori, whom she did love, a Seleucian bull stays from afar. On Lankiwale, Valia and Tula reunite at Griffin's tomb. Valia tells Tula she didn't think Tula could kill the Atreides like that, and that Griffin would be proud, but Tula isn't so sure. Back at home, Sonia, Virgil and Virginie all blame Valia for the massacre, saying she didn't think about the consequences the family would have to face. Angry Valia uses the voice on her mother and almost tells her to kill herself. Before she can do anything with more tragic consequences, Valia storms off, with Virginie calling her a sorceress. At the spot where she said goodbye to Griffin at the beginning of the episode, Valia takes the Rozak poison and emerges as a reverend mother, as Tula finds her in agony. Tula decides to join the sisterhood, and Valia promises a fresh start for both of them with a new purpose. Between the flashbacks, Tula faces a challenge in the present. On Valak 9, she is keeping Sister Layla in a vegetative state, not fully capable of letting her go yet. Sister Avia, who appears as one of the Dorothea's followers in the flashbacks, brings Tula some spice tea, but Tula forbids her from turning off Layla's life support. Tula sees the spice in her tea and has an idea. Later, Tula summons the acolytes to say goodbye to Lilia, and when Sister Jen lashes out at Tula for killing Layla, Avia intervenes, saying Lilia's sacrifice should be honored because she knew the risk and that Tula and Valia would never have asked her to do it if it weren't necessary. Later, Avia again commends Tula for letting Layla go, saying that Valia would be proud. Tula then says she's going to the storeroom but goes into the tunnels that Mother Akila shows young Valia in one of the flashbacks. Inside, a chamber lights up in electric blue, and we see Sister Layla inside a small glass belt. Tula activates an artificial intelligence which is strictly forbidden, named Anirur. The authors it to flood Layla's class bed with spice, saying that if it uses the correct dosage, the spice would regenerate Layla's mind. The thinking machine objects, saying that Valia wouldn't approve. But Tula overrides this by saying she is the one in charge, and Anirul finally complies. While Sisterhood Above All is a great piece of storytelling inside the Dune universe, it's also evidence of the irregular pacing of Prophecy so far. For a 6 episode series with 60 minutes episodes, having a whole episode dedicated to flashback seems a little too much. Although it certainly provides a fascinating insight into its two main characters, this isn't necessarily a symptom of how the series was planned, but of the current television and streaming landscape, which is always looking for immediate hit series with a shorter season. House of the Dragon suffered with this same issue. For example, the flashbacks will now inform both Valia and Tula's next steps, both as Harkonnen and as members of the Sisterhood. But it feels like there is just too much that needs to happen with only 3 episodes left. Thanks for watching, guys.